Hook 'em. Lance Jackson, Texarkana's Pleasant Grove, becomes the first commitment from yesterday's junior day on campus at the University of Texas. And I mean that in a true sense, a junior that committed to Texas, because obviously Racine Guillory, the running back out of Aledo, committed late yesterday, but he was only a sophomore. This is actually a junior. It is, again, his name is Lance Jackson. He's out of Texarkana, Pleasant Grove. His brother, Landon, plays for Arkansas. Lance, a little bit more highly touted, though. Lance, 6'5", 245 pounds. Get this. He was a all-district selection as both a freshman at both tight end and defensive end, as a sophomore at tight end and defensive end. And then last year in his the 7-4A district, he was actually ranked named the defensive lineman of the year in the district. Certainly one of those rare prospects that could play a number of different positions. Texas looking at him at both, although I think they're going to start him off on defense at Buck, 6'5", 245. Jeff Banks and Pete Kwiatkowski are going to fight over him a little bit, I think, once he gets on campus. Last year he had 20 catches, 320 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Also had 68 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. Again, this is a young man that you'll be able to watch here on film. Really athletic, can play both sides of the ball. He'll go up and make a tough catch like he does here, and then also be able to turn around and play defense and make things happen for him. Got some pass rush moves to him, some real power to him as well, which I think is important. He chooses the Longhorns over Texas A&M, Penn State, Arkansas, Florida, Baylor, Texas Tech, among others. Look at those long arms right there on that pass rush. Just absolutely tremendous. So here's the deal. Texas now sitting at, I guess, 5 commitments in the class of 2025. Longhorns with Brandon Brown out of Eau Gallie, Florida. Lance Jackson, look at that block. Wow. Out of Texarkana, Pleasant Grove. Deuce Williams, linebacker out of Pearland, Shadow Creek. KJ Lacey, the quarterback out of Saraland in Alabama. Then you also have the tight end out of Calhoun, Georgia, Amari Winston as well. That's 5 total, the second in-state commit. Could there be more on the way? Absolutely. But we'll wait and see who that might be. Right now, we're going to focus on Lance Jackson a little bit more. As I mentioned, all district both ways as a freshman and sophomore in 7-4A. Definitely a very physical player. Had 3 sacks in 2022. Had 6 tackles or 11.5 tackles for loss in 2022. Up that to 68 tackles overall in 2023 and 20 receptions for 7 touchdowns. But really what you're getting is a big physical player that's still growing into his body. Right now, he's sitting at 6'5", 245 pounds. But as you can tell, he's got more weight to gain easily on a frame that really could be something special for Texas. The interesting thing here for Texas, in my opinion, Longhorns continue to try to add at the high level. They're not taking just guys right now. He's ranked number 104 nationally by On3 in the On3 consensus. Texas trying to add national level players early in the process. Texas did not take a lot of commitments from yesterday's junior day. They could have probably taken a lot more than what they really went out there and tried to approach. I think they're taking an as is or a wait and see kind of approach to the 2025 recruiting class, as they should. Like I've said before, I think Texas holds the cards here in a lot of situations because right now, frankly, they don't have to rush and be hurried. They need to take their time and make the decisions and only go on guys they're 100% sure on. And right now, frankly, Lance Jackson fits into that category. Came into Austin yesterday morning for the visit, and we think he came in with the idea of committing. He ended up filming a recruiting commitment video while he was in Austin as well. And so you get the feeling like this was premeditated. It wasn't a spur of the moment thing. So we don't think it's going to be one of those things where he backs out of it the next week. This was premeditated, something that they thought long and hard about. His brother does play at Arkansas after originally signing with LSU. So they're familiar with transferring, et cetera. I don't think it's something that the that the family wants to do again. And so this is a very interesting get. It's also Texas reaching back into East Texas. It hasn't been a real big home to Texas in the last couple of years. That's because whether it's A&M or even Alabama with Jalen Hale, Jamarian Miller, those guys getting a better grasp or stranglehold on East Texas. Texas now getting back into East Texas, I think, is also going to be important because frankly, East Texas is more talented this year than it has been in years past. Not only do you have Lance Jackson, but Ricky Wright, the running back out of Tyler Chapel Hill, was just offered earlier this week. You have guys down in Southeast Texas that are also going to be recruited at Jasper, like Keody Armstrong. So all of this to say that I think that it's an important move for Texas in a number of different ways. One, it's a position where he's got some position versatility, defensive end or tight end. Two, it's got the East Texas tie. Three, he's an elite prospect, number 104 in the country. He's checking all those boxes, is what I'm saying. Texas doesn't feel like they have to overstep early in this recruiting class. And I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't get as many commitments or push for as many commitments on Saturday as perhaps many expected them to. I thought they might come out with 2 or 3 at the most. A lot of people thought they were going to have 5, 6, 7, 8. That didn't happen. So they're being a little more selective and taking their more time. A little bit more patience is involved here. There's no doubt about it. But I think that this now makes me think about, where is Texas going from here for the next guy at defensive end, or what's going to happen next as it relates to a number of different prospects at different positions. They've got to make decisions at linebacker, at offensive line, wide receivers wide open right now. There's a couple of guys that are at the top of the list. Maybe we got to see where that all pans out based on where they took unofficial visits, yesterday. But you also have Kelshawn Johnson down at Hitchcock. That is just a tremendous player. All of this to say, Lance Johnson is going to be part of this class and a big one, in my opinion, because he gives it versatility. He reaches back into East Texas, somewhere that Texas absolutely wants to get back in at in a big way. And then obviously he's the player that he is as well. All right, that'll do it for today's for Lance Jackson's commitment video. Very happy for him and his family. Lance Jackson, 6'5", 245, out of Texarkana's Pleasant Grove High School. Lance, hook 'em.